Hi, everyone. It's Tessa.
And Joe.
From the Unveiling Paradise podcast.
Tessa, summer is almost here, and so many of our listeners are about to have their epic destination wedding.
And we are so excited for you guys.
Before the big day, guys, we want you to make sure you listen to these 3 episodes.
Episode 62, Deep Diving Your Wedding Ceremony.
Episode 53, Questions Your Wedding Guests Will Ask.
And episode 31, the final countdown to your wedding day.
And if you're planning your wedding here in Hawaii, hit us up and ask us about our Unveiling Paradise podcast promo.
Happy planning. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Unveiling Paradise podcast. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Tessa. How are you doing today?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am equally so good.
Okay, here's the thing. I am excited because we're talking about things that I care about. Is that important to you?
What?
I don't know.
I don't really know. Maybe. It depends on what you care about. What do you care about?
Well,
Lost puppies? I care about them, yeah.
I do love puppies, but no, not today. Today, we are talking about wedding planning.
Yeah.
Which is my vibe. I am
it's
a
also
wedding
your
planner.
job.
I get paid to do this. But I love talking about me giving advice to people.
You do love to give advice. Like
Solicited.
an old granny, that kind of thing.
Solicited advice. People are asking. So I want to start by kind of talking about one of the things that I say all the time. And it's funny because every couple I have, all of my team, they've heard me say this 100 times. So can you guess what it is, or should I just tell you?
You should just tell me.
I'm going to tell you. Okay. Wedding planning is a lot. And when you get started, right, budget is top of mind. There's so many things to talk about. There's so many things to think about. You're researching, you're Googling, you're trying to figure out what to spend your money on.
Yeah, totally. And if you don't have an idea of how much a wedding costs, I mean, you can look online. You can say, like in my neighborhood, this is what a typical wedding costs. But what is it that you actually need for a wedding? Like, what does it all cost, right? Of course, that's a huge question. And I think the unfortunate thing is people don't put their price tags on a wedding that you're seeing on social media, like on Instagram. Like, you don't know what the venue costs, the food that you're looking at pictures of. You just don't know.
And it's also understanding that when you're looking at those pictures, you may have an idea like, oh, this is a fancy plated meal. This is a gorgeous venue. You don't see kind of the unseen cost. How much did they spend on their bar? How much did they spend on photo? You don't know those things by just looking at the items that they purchased or rented. It all comes down to this. The one thing that I tell every single couple, every single one of my team, when we're talking about budget, spend money on the things that you care about. Don't spend money on the things that you don't. And what that means basically is, regardless of what your budget is, if you have a small budget, a huge budget, you're still trying to budget for your wedding, whatever that may look like. So there's always some give or take, and it's not fun or glamorous, but it has to be done. I'm excited today to bring on one of our real life couples. They just got married almost a month ago. This weekend will be 1 month. Can you believe?
That's insane. And we were both lucky to work this wedding together.
From their wedding to our studio, we are super, super excited to introduce our couple, Katiana and Kyle. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Okay, we brought you guys on the show because you are one of those couples that listen to the show, right? You guys are like big fans. You are like bigger fan of Joe, Team Joe. You guys are both Team Joe, which is awesome. I love that so much. Don't talk.
Not true. They have been Team Tessa the entire time. Don't make it awkward for yourself.
Okay, fine. I don't really know. I mean, a lot of people say that they're Team Tessa. I guess I can understand. But you guys, we've kind of developed a relationship with you guys. Like, you planned your wedding for what, a couple of years?
About a year and a half.
And what was neat is we got to see you at a lot of different events. You were showing up at different workshops. We would see you at different open houses for different venues, checking out venues.
And that's one of the benefits, right, of being a local couple. They live here, so we were able to see them a lot versus a lot of our destination couples we only get to see on Zoom or, if they happen to come here. So we're so, so excited that we got to see you guys multiple times throughout your wedding planning process. So that makes me super happy.
Okay, Tessa, let's ask this question so everyone knows. Where did you guys end up having your wedding at? What was the venue? What was the vibe? Like, just give us a high-level recap of your big day.
So we ended up getting married at Prince Waikiki, which is like only 5 minutes away from home for us. So that
Perfect.
was a good location. We also loved the Prince because it has our favorite sushi place,
Yeah.
sushi restaurant Katsumidori. That was one of our pluses. It was also, well, we were trying to accommodate a lot of like our older families too. So a lot of the venues we looked at didn't really have that accommodation for people who are in wheelchairs or people who had a hard time walking, all of that. So the Prince was like really everything that we wanted in a venue. It was accommodating, it was close to home, it was a good location, everything was updated.
And you guys had a larger guest count too, right? So when we're looking and talking about accommodation, it's obviously, older guests in wheelchairs and needing, some just to be able to move around easily. A lot of gorgeous outdoor venues don't have that ease of moving, right? Wheelchairs on grass or sand makes it a little tricky. So any hotel can manage ADA accommodations, but the Prince is nice because it's very easy to get to everything. In addition, their ballroom is large enough to accommodate your 200-person wedding. Yeah. And so those things kind of make it a really nice venue for you.
What was also nice about having it at the Prince is that the ceremony and the reception were in the same venue.
Yeah, I think that's huge when you don't have to be moving from one place to like drive to another place. Like just that convenience alone. I mean, that's how I want to spend my day.
And a lot of times too, when you have your ceremony in one spot, reception in another, a lot of guests choose one or the other, and they're going to come for the free food. So you lose a lot of people at the ceremony. So it's nice to have it in one place.
Okay, one more question, put you guys on the spot. So how long was it between getting engaged and planning your wedding? Like, what was the process for you guys?
So we got engaged in September 2023. I started planning the night he proposed.
So immediate. The planning started immediately.
Busted out my laptop and started looking at venues. And then we got married in February 2025. So about a year and a half. It was a long time coming.
I love that. And so basically got engaged, went to dinner, I assume, right? You got to get the free dinner, and then started the planning immediately.
Yes.
I love that. I am so excited to talk to you guys today all about your wedding, things that you feel were must-haves, things that you would maybe change or shift. So let's get started. Welcome to Unveiling Paradise, your go-to destination wedding podcast. I'm Tessa, wedding planner and owner of Fred and Kate Events.
And I'm Joe, wedding and adventure photographer of Joseph Esser Photography. We are based in Hawaii, one of the biggest, most popular locations for destination weddings.
We want to share our real-life experiences with you, give you insight from a professional's perspective, and still make sure you're having fun in the process.
We're huge believers in the fact that planning a destination wedding can be one of the most amazing experiences, and we want to bring you along.
We're so excited to talk with you about weddings, Hawaii, and everything else under the sun.
So pack your bags and let's get started.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to debrief hardcore.
That is not appropriate.
I know.
It's not that kind of podcast.
I take it
Just
back.
regular briefing. What are we? Oh, no, you can't start over. You're too late. Let's go. What are we doing, Tessa?
Okay, today we are talking with Katiana and Kyle about their wedding, specifically the tough choices that we made when planning, right? Again, going back to what I said earlier, my quote, my go-to to every couple that I talk to, spend money on things that you care about. Don't spend money on things you don't care about. Simple as that. Yeah.
So when did you start working with Tessa and her team to start planning? Like, at what point did you hire her on?
So we booked her like right at the beginning of wedding planning. She was our first vendor that we booked. Honestly, we didn't even research our wedding coordinator because I kind of planned to have Tessa from the get-go.
So was it love at first sight with her or what? Or were you like, this girl is feisty?
She is feisty. She is feisty.
That's my jam.
It scared Kyle a little bit because when she mentioned his open bar, Kyle was a little iffy a little.
I think I told him he'd have to cut it or increase his budget or find something.
Yeah.
Or
That's
cut
fair.
something.
Yeah, which we did. And that's what we're going to talk about. But that's funny. I did not know I scared Kyle. I'm not going to lie. I scare a lot of people. So
So basically, you started working with Tessa like right from the get-go. Like
Yes.
we're pretty much right after you.
Right after, like right when we started wedding planning.
So before they had a venue, they booked me, which was why I was able to help them navigate the venue selection. And that's what I want to talk about now.
Is that common for you to like book a client without a venue, maybe even a date? Is that something that's normal or?
Honestly, it is. Especially, I think with other vendors it's different, but with a planner, you get to really use their experience, and the venue is a huge part of your budget, right? It sets the tone, it sets the budget. All hotels have a food and beverage minimum, so you're budgeting for so much from that one venue. You want to make sure you're picking the right one. So I always tell couples, you don't have to book me first, but it's really a benefit to you if you start with us from the beginning. We're going to give you that advice. We're going to get you into a venue that makes the most sense, so we're starting off already on a good note while planning.
It was also good to have a second pair of eyes looking over the contract and the budget, and you can have family, mom, dad, auntie, uncle look over the contract, but to have someone that's experienced in the field and reviewing the contract with you and for you, like, that was very helpful.
For sure. And I think that's what I want to talk about. Let's start there. Let's talk about, when we were venue shopping, and I think you were looking at one venue that you thought was going to be a really good deal.
Yes, so I had a friend working at a hotel. She gave us like our food and beverage costs, and I thought at the time it was a good price for everything, but then I didn't realize that their ceremony area was not the greatest. It only could hold up to like 30 people when we were closing on 200 guests coming in. We sent over our contract to Tessa, and she kind of brought us back earthside.
My job.
She's like, no, I don't think this is a good deal. I mean, it sounds like a good deal to you, but it's not going to be, beneficial for everybody. Like at the end with your costs and everything, you're going to have to find a different venue for your ceremony, have to think about transportation, your photo and video, having to travel. So at the end, we were like, yeah, it was already stressful trying to look for a second venue for the ceremony. So we cut that out quick.
It was also understanding, right? Like Kyle was saying, when we look at the contract, understanding or explaining to couples like what a food and beverage minimum is. And we've talked about it, right, on a previous episode. This is the bare minimum you're going to spend, if not more. So they can drop, and a lot of venues, a lot of hotels do this, where they'll drop your food and beverage minimum very low, knowing that you're going to go over anyway. If their food and beverage is expensive, you're still going to go over that. With a large guest count, you are definitely going to go over. So reducing a food and beverage minimum to get you to book is not always going to benefit you. It will sometimes, but for your guest count, you are still going to spend way more than what the minimum was going to be.
I never thought about that, but that sounds kind of tricky, sneaky.
I know, I love it. I love the tricky sneaky, and I love calling it out too.
So you were kind of sold on one venue first, and then it was like, this is actually would be more expensive in the long run. So how did you end up at your venue that you ended up booking?
So we actually looked at 2 other venues. Mm-hmm. I thought I liked another venue, but again, this reception area was separate from the ceremony area, which we didn't really care for. And the looks of the ballroom was not happening for me. I did not like how it was set up. I didn't like the colors, I was not vibing with it. We kind of cut that out quick. And then we looked at the prints, and we figured we had a lot of pros more than cons for that venue. So yeah, we sent over the contract to Tessa, and bada bing, bada boom, there we go.
I like that.
Right. So again, it really kind of came down to finding the best pick for you, understanding that there were sacrifices, right? Again, it's always a this or that. So when we were looking, it really was, you had this vision of, I think some of the other venues you were looking at were pricier, but in order to get everything else you wanted, open bar, photo, video, right? We made sacrifices. But I don't think that this was a bad sacrifice. I don't think you lost anything in the experience, right? But it's shifting your mindset to understand, this is another option we didn't consider. After talking with our planner, this actually resonates so much more for our wedding and our vibe.
So you booked Tessa, you're working with her, figuring out the venue. At what point did you say, oh my gosh, weddings are expensive. How do we make this happen with our budget? Well, like, how did that hit you? I'm just curious.
We made a spreadsheet and came out with an estimated total and had sticker shock.
I think I remember you sent it to me. I was like, oh, they're going to be in for a real shock when we get real numbers.
Because we're not talking about like feeding 20 people. You guys are talking about feeding 200 people. And you're talking about an open bar for 200 people. I mean, yeah, like that's a lot to take in, right?
Yeah, everything kind of added up, and even some of the small costs added up to a big number. So everything always adds up.
So with all that said and done, did you guys, so you set a budget, what you wanted to spend on your wedding. Did you guys were you able to stay on budget? After you got through the sticker shock and you're like, oh my gosh, like, did you guys stay in that space?
Yep, we did stay within our budget. We were $2,000 to $3,000 away from our budget.
That's amazing. Success.
So this is the mystery question, the magical mystery question of today. How the heck did you do that? Because a lot of people planning weddings say, oh my gosh, we went way over budget. Like, how did you guys figure that out?
Well, first of all, I think we estimated for the worst case scenario for our budget. Like, this is the most that we're willing to spend. And we tried to keep it under that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But you guys didn't cut out anything that was important, right? You had the perfect wedding.
Yes, we stayed within our budget for all of from our vendors to my dress to everything that you can think of.
Well, let's talk about that, because I know you said that you didn't cut everything, but I looked back at my notes from when we first met, and Kyle wanted prime rib and open bar. So let's talk about that. We did cut. We cut that prime rib.
I didn't cut.
We could not cut that open bar, but we cut that prime rib.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'll take you to a prime rib dinner. I don't want you to be sad or mad at me, but we made it work in the budget. At the end of the day, you still had the perfect wedding, right? We start with the wedding planning. What are your must-haves? What are your non-negotiables? They can still get cut because everything else is so good. Did you miss it?
A little bit, but
Kyle, wrong answer.
but I enjoyed the drinks more, so it was fine.
Perfect. See, the prime rib would have filled you too much to drink and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I am proud of myself that we cut that prime rib. I have zero regret because, again, we stayed in your budget. It's a lot of money to spend, right? Even with the hosted bar, you had 200 people. So when we were kind of talking about hosting a bar, if we just had the bar open all night with whatever they want, shots, we would have hit crazy numbers. So it's being strategic, right? We had a hosted bar, but there were minor sacrifices.
During the cocktail hour, everyone only had about 1 or 2 drinks, and then
During the program, we limited our alcohol to only our signature drinks, wines, and beer until the formal program ended.
So basically, what I'm interpreting, what I'm hearing, and I'm saying this as a fact because I was there, is we didn't allow people to take shots until the dancing started.
yeah, basically.
If people started doing shots from the second the ceremony was done, we would have hit that bar tab in like an hour. Your guests were drinkers. They were having a really good time.
That's why we had an open bar.
And that's the thing, right? It was important to Kyle and to you, right? So if something is important, we'll make sure that we have the budget for it. But sometimes we have to cut other things to make that happen.
Okay, so I'm a little slow here. Sorry, I'm trying to interpret this in my little squirrel brain. But so basically what you guys did was you were able to kind of control the cost of your bar by just offering your signature drink. You know, again, like you're not letting everyone go nuts on taking shots and stuff like that. You're just, you know, everyone's still able to drink, but they're getting to sample your signature cocktail. And then after the program, then you can get into like the wild, crazy dance party,
Yep.
drink party.
I love a Midori sour.
Yeah.
So what we're saying basically, right, it's an open bar was important, right? We wanted to host all night long. In order to make that happen and still keep within our budget, what we did is we only served our signature drinks, beer and wine, through dancing, so people could not order shots. They could not just kind of get, anything they wanted. Is we restricted the alcohol where they could still get a lot of drinks, but not everything until dancing. Once that started, we opened the full bar for the last couple of hours.
So we wanted to host an open bar, but in order to stay within our budget, we restricted some things for during our cocktail hour until our formal program ended. Our guests can only order our signature drinks, beer, wine, and champagne from the time cocktail hour started until our formal program ended.
And then after the formal program, it was like,
you can have whatever you want.
Shots,
anything.
gin and tonics, anything, right? So basically your full bar opened when dancing began.
this is kind of interesting for me because this is where your bar tab typically goes crazy, right? If you have people taking shots, those numbers add up real fast.
Oh, yes, they do.
So I love that as a strategy to kind of, still have, open bar, but your bar bill isn't skyrocketing from the get-go.
We also did that because we wanted our guests to be involved or, paying attention to during our formal program as well.
It's hard to do that when you can't see straight.
You're passed out on the ground. They're not going to be watching your first dance.
Yes.
So recap, Kyle, no prime rib station, but you got your open bar. Kati, what was your must-have? What was the thing that was a non-negotiable for you?
My non-negotiable was my photography and videography.
Yes, I like that.
Okay, so let's make the room a little awkward. And let's talk about when we first started looking at photo and video, right? Most people don't realize, or most people like you are doing your research. So you're looking at photographers, you're looking at videographers. You're realizing that when you're booking two companies, it can add up. It can be pricey and out of your budget. We know someone in the room wanted an open bar. So how do we get that budget, right? We got to cut. You were not willing to cut quality, amount of time, the experience, but it's really understanding that hiring photography separate and video will often cost more money.
So when you were thinking about photo and video, where did you start? Were you looking at individual photography companies and individual videographers, and you were trying to figure out how did that process work for you?
So that's exactly what I was doing. I was inquiring with just separate photography. I would get their price quotes for what their services were, and then I would do the same for a videography company. And when I added it all up together, it was way out of my budget.
Funny thing, listeners to understand is Katiana's a planner on her own. So without us having a conversation, so I have reached out to 10 photographers, 10 venues, all these videographers. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Let's try to understand what you're looking at first. And so I think, when we are looking high level and understanding the budget and understanding the importance of photo video, open bar, prime rib, when we're trying to figure out what the priorities are, it's how can we make that happen in your budget? So, I know you were on your own reaching out to photographers, videographers, and then I had said, if you hire a company together, you will often save money. Talking to companies that combine services, they will often offer discounts or add-ons or additional hours or a bonus photo booth, some sort of add-on, right? And so I think you did then speak to Joseph.
Yeah. And then she ended up booking the very best selection, which was me. Yay. No, but actually what's funny is what I love about you guys and the wedding planning process is we would see you at a lot of these open houses. There's other photographers that you're interviewing and other, companies. And I think before you actually booked us, we probably ran into each other, 2-3 times before at workshops and these sort of things. And then luckily you ended up with us, right?
We did end up going with Joseph. So, I have no regrets. It was amazing.
Very awkward if you did.
He would have edited if you said it was like he would have taken that right out anyway.
Can you say he was amazing? No. What was that like? What was that experience like working with us, when it was you have a photo video team together? Was it easier? What did you save money? I'm just kind of curious because I don't actually get these answers.
So yes to all the above. It was very easy. I did save a lot of money. It was easy in a way where the photographer and videographer like worked well together. They meshed well. They knew like how each other works. So I felt like it made the flow like much easier to follow. Like I didn't have to like go into multiple places more than once kind of thing.
So, Katiana was not willing to give up photo or video. I know that was really, really a high level must have for you. Hiring photo and video separately would have been way out of your budget. So we ended up with a company that does both, which is Joseph, and that was amazing. Number one, you saved money. And number two, seamless experience. You have that really, really great, they know each other, their team works as one, so they're not fighting for time. So you're saving money as a team, but you're also saving money in the fact that we didn't need to add on any extra time because photo shooting first, video shooting second. A lot of times when we work with different companies, they are, stepping over each other, or they're both trying to get a perfect shot, but the perfect shot is different in their mind. So it's a lot of duplicate posing or different posing, right? When you're working with one team, you will often save money and you get that seamless experience.
For me, when photo and video was going on in the suite while we're getting ready, it just looked like that the photographer and videographer were very familiar with each other and they knew what each other's roles were. Like if the photographer needed more room, then the videographer would move aside, and it didn't feel like she was bossing him around. It just, they both had an understanding of where they needed to be to get each other's work done and get the perfect shot for us.
I felt like they were helpful to each other. Like if Jimmy needed something, Joseph would, hop at it and, help him get whatever we needed or whatever he needed. Same for Joseph. If Joseph needed something, then Jimmy was like right there helping him out, not stepping on each other's toes. And, there was no bickering. No, there's no yelling. No, she needs to go over there. And it really kept the vibe going. It really helped me like stay calm and not as nervous too. So it was really helpful.
No bickering is always a good thing.
Yes.
Okay, this is my favorite question. Kyle and Katiana, what did you love most about your wedding?
What I loved most, well, I loved everything about it, but what I loved the most was walking into the ballroom for the first time and seeing what it looked like. I mean, it was like much better than I expected it to be. I mean, I didn't even know what I was expecting in my head, but it just looked better than what I would have put together kind of thing. So it was very magical. I mean, I cried.
Can we talk about the ballroom? Because it was pretty epic. So you had like it was like a giant marquee lit up in the head table. What did it say again? I can't remember.
So it was K Heart K.
Yeah. It was like
in the middle of our head table.
Huge impact moment when you walk in and you see the whole ballroom dressed up and it's lights and it's glittery and it's so cool.
It's very pink.
Yeah, pink. So, they had like pipe and drape backdrop. They had chair covers. Again, right? You can do a lot with a room with just some accents, with just a couple things to make it look really elevated. Kyle, what was your favorite moment of your wedding?
My favorite moment was my 100-year-old grandma dancing on the dance floor with light up glow sticks and, of course, the open bar.
He got his open bar.
I know, that was amazing. Actually, what's really funny, and I think you guys said this offline, but like you didn't even see grandma out on the dance floor, but you were seeing it in like social media posts and our photos after the fact. Grandma was out there. She's in a wheelchair, right? She's got like the glow sticks and everybody is surrounding her, dancing their little butts off. It was so cute. It was so awesome.
Yeah, that was a great moment to see. Even though we were at the photo booth at the time, having you guys capture all the photos and videos of her and everyone else.
So fun.
I love it, man. I have a soft spot for old people. So cute. They're so cute.
You can ask me this question too, but what was your favorite part of the whole wedding planning process with these guys?
Oh, good question. I mean,
Yes, I want to hear.
honestly, I think one of my favorite things, and with Katiana and Kyle, they're local. So I love that we got to actually meet in person a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't get that with most of my couples. So I feel like, we connected. We were able to, have real in-person conversations. And it's part planning and it was just part hanging out. And I don't get that with most of my couples. So I love that we were able to do that. And like, we talked about offline, it's building a relationship, right? With me and my team, what we do really well and what we love to do is create these relationships with couples. We do it with destination couples as well. But if you're local and we can see each other in person, it just makes it so much better. Joe, what's your favorite part of Kyle and Katiana's wedding?
For me, I think a lot of it was the emotions. Like, you guys were like anxious a little bit. And then when you saw each other, it was just like this big release. It was so cute. There was so many beautiful tears between the two of you. These are the moments like that are so special. Like you guys did a really cute first look. And I remember just thinking like, they're so cute. They're so sweet. Like, they are so happy to have found each other and get married. Like, to me, that was probably the most memorable moment for me. And those are things I love. Yeah.
So one thing that my team and I always do, right, is when we get the photos, like, I'll send it to everyone to look at. And, we have obviously a group text with my team, and they were like, every photo, they're like, oh my God, they're so cute. Like, you can just see the emotions on your face, and you guys could see how happy you were to finally get married and start your lives together. And so it was just, my team is equally as emotional as I am. And so they were so happy for you guys. Like, they were just so excited the whole time. They were like, they're so cute together. Okay, last question. What is the best tip for someone planning their wedding that you guys did that you were you have to do this?
So for me, my best tip would be to do your research. Start early and do your research. It will help you so much in the long run.
Yeah, so for me, I like the partial wedding planning versus the day of. We decided to go with the partial planning because Katya and I were bouncing ideas off of each other, but we also didn't know how much things cost, like what was good, what was bad. So having a professional give us ideas and to bounce our ideas off of was really good. Tessa could give us feedback and tell us what was good and what was bad. Like, what we don't know, we don't know.
What's really funny, I keep on thinking of this analogy, is you guys' wedding was sort of like a unicorn, where it's like, does it really exist? You can plan a wedding and stay in budget and get everything that you want and have that perfect day. Do we find the missing unicorn? Can everybody find this unicorn?
I think so. I think with a lot of planning, right? Again, planning early, being willing to sacrifice things for others, like, it was perfect.
Locking in your budget, like having a budget and sticking to your guns on that. Like, you guys walk away from this like with zero regrets and not stressed out. And that's like the goal, right? I love this. This was actually such a great show. So thanks guys so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So glad you guys were here, and see everybody next time.
All right, bye guys. And just for the record there, Team Joe all the way. Bye.
Team Tessa, don't cut that.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unveiling Paradise.
If you enjoy our show, please follow us and rate us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would really mean a lot.
And don't forget to also get on our mailing list and follow us on Instagram. Just do it already.
Until next time, this is Tessa.
And this is Joe.
And don't forget, your happily ever after
is just a plane ride away.